All right, my friends, welcome back to Forum Biz Talk. This is your host and creator, Pete Delatorre. A little bit later on in the program, I'm going to share with you a YouTube audio. Well, it's a video, but it's an audio because you're not going to be able to see it. Zig Ziglar, one of the all-time greats, talking about self-discipline. Yeah, self-discipline. What we got to do sometimes what we don't want to do, but we know the payoff is great. A little bit later on, towards the end of the show, I'm going to share with you the next event of the Business Forum group, Cross the Finish Line, which is this Thursday morning, and a big announcement about this show and how we're going to move forward. But without further ado, it is my pleasure to bring on to the program. I'm going to call both of you a dynamic duo because you're here and you're going to be dynamic and you're great friends. Leslie Marenco, and she is trust counsel, attorneys, and counselors at law, and Ernie Martinez from Ernesto Martinez Jr. PA. Welcome both to the show. How are you?
Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Well, and to be courteous and nice and all that, and to treat our special guest really with warmth and all that kind of good stuff. Leslie Marenco, tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
First, Pete, I think I should point out that out of the two of us, I am significantly younger and maybe not more dynamic. I don't know if I'm more dynamic than Martinez over here, but certainly younger for the record.
Well, we got that straight now.
So I am an estate planning attorney. I deal mostly with families and with business owners. Our firm is in Coral Gables, and we are a bunch of partners, and we all do pretty much the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I've been an attorney now for about 10 years, practicing in this area, and I love it. And that's how I've gotten to know Ernie Martinez, and we're next door to each other in Coral Gables, and we always bounce ideas off of each other and try to help our clients the best we can.
So I'm going to call you Martinez for the rest of the interview?
That's what I call it, in a loving way.
Okay. So, Ernie, just to catch up, we have a lot of listeners tuning in for the first time.
Yes, I've been practicing over 32 years. I used to be a corporate counsel for a public company, a solar energy company, Exxon for South Florida. I advise clients now privately, and I deal a lot with businesses and their problems and dealing with their families, which I enjoy, and doing estate planning with them. I incorporate that business side of it, which is very important. You just can't do it in isolation. You have to do it in terms of what their family situation, particularly in areas like this, Doral, where you're dealing with a lot of business owners, mm-hmm. and dealing with their families, a lot of Latin families that their main asset is in their business. Mm-hmm. So one of the main goals is how to preserve that and how to do it. My old joke: nobody wants to pay more taxes. Nobody wants to have more litigation. Nobody wants to have more problems. So our goal is to reduce those things so that you have less family conflict and to have more communication so that you have families that are able to leave their assets to the next
Sure.
generation. And we're all patriotic also, but nobody wants to pay the government more than they have to.
So you like dealing with the problems of the families. But I mean, I salute you because that is not easy because it tends to be a little emotional, maybe just a little bit. Dealing with family
Sure.
issues.
Definitely.
You both are taking a deep breath and nodding up and down like, where do we start, right?
I always say there's two very different components to planning. And one is always that family component, and then there's a whole different kind of left brain structuring component. And you really need to balance the two, because trying to do tax planning or corporate planning and structuring and then ignoring the family dynamics is just a recipe for disaster. So you really have to at least have some type of social skill and really just not be a tax attorney.
But that's the thing. I mean, you got to come in and you know the facts and you know the law and you know the procedures and the systems and all of that. But when you're dealing with families, it's just what you just said, Leslie. You got to come in ready for all the stuff, all the intangibles, and then try to take that and guide them down the route of talking them legalities. And that's got to be, I'm sure it's taken time to build that skill set, but that's where the trust comes in, right? With the families, it isn't just you're hitting them with the facts. engaging, going through that process first, correct?
Yeah, definitely. Today I met with someone, and they've their family. They have a group of 20 people that group the family situation, and they've had the property for over 30 years, and now it's worth over $5 million. But one of the goals that they have is to maintain it within the family, and for their children and their heirs and so on. And as you know, it's hard enough to get 3 people to agree on lunch. Imagine 20 people.
2 people agreeing on lunch.
Yeah. So one of the things that you have is to get everybody to agree to move the train forward in a sense, and who wants to deal with these issues.
Now, let's say, and this is for both of you really, but your clients are not just Hispanic clients. I mean, I'm sure you have Anglo families and all that. Do you see more of a challenge with Hispanics than you do with, say, the non-Hispanic community in dealing with issues like this?